Ground ball. McLean, second. 12 in a row. The oldest team in professional baseball has its 5th ever winning streak of a dozen straight.
Our job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught. Left center. Reds win.
And this ball is launched high and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Elly de la Cruz.
Short lead for Pena. Larkin drills it. Do you believe this? It's going to be gone. Back to back. Walk-off home runs. How about this? He's back. He's back. He's back.
And a swing and a drive. Deep left field. This one belongs to the Reds. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run. And the Reds put it 5-4.
Goes to second one. Around to first. Got a double play. And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Archer does it in his major league debut. He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on. Fly ball. Hit to deep right field. That ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. It's a winning. It's a winning. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause in the pitch, and a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone, and this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look turns it loose, and Dunn hits it to deep right. It's all over, and this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Dunn 3-run home run, 4-2. In on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Roy Tring pitching, no bunt. Ground ball by the third baseman into left field. Dave Bruce rounds third, and this one belongs to the Reds.
That's hit pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
With 1 out here in the 11th inning, you sure got to go now.
One on, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Dave Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate, and this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you pay him the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. Hank Hill going back at the warning track. He's gone. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Chatterbox Reds pregame show, a Labor Day edition, and an edition where Sal Stewart is finally a Cincinnati Red. Austin, it's been a long time coming, but we're here. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Got the day off, obviously. Glad to talk a little Reds baseball. And yeah, can we not talk about Sal Stewart finally on the team, man? Excited to do it. But yeah, it should be a good show.
I just could not be more excited that Sal Stewart is here. Is it too late? Well, we'll get into that. But let's go. I'll run through a little bit of stuff about Sal Stewart if you don't know too much about him, because obviously he has not played in a Reds uniform yet, but he was drafted in 2022 with the 32nd overall pick. I believe that's a compensatory pick, and I think it was for Nick Castellanos when they lost him. But over 4 years in the minors, he hit 289, 390 on base, and an 856 OPS. In Louisville this year, in only 165 at-bats, he hit 10 homers and hit 315 with an OPS over 1,000. And he's played third, second, and recently started playing first. He's only made 2 starts, though, at first base. What do you have any concerns about, that defensively? And just how excited are you that Sal Stewart is finally here?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be somewhat concerning, I guess, with only the 2 starts at first, and that's where they're plugging him in today for his first, MLB start. So I mean, we'll see, right? We'll know here in like a little over an hour, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, I saw clips on X or Twitter or whatever of him working with Freddie Benavides on kind of scooping balls at first and just kind of probably fundamentals, footwork, that type of thing today. So we were joking before this stream started. It's like it's always good when you're like learning on the job type of thing, right? So I don't know. I think if I had to put money on it, I probably would have bet on him playing, second or something like that, maybe another place in the infield for his first start. But I guess we'll probably touch on this too. But we've kind of learned there's maybe some nagging injuries for Steer. Give him a day off, plug him in at first, being Stewart. So we'll find out shortly, man. But yeah, I wish he had more than 2 starts in the minor leagues there. That's for sure. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, he started 23 games in AAA at third, 13 at second, and 2 at first. It doesn't make sense to me why they did that. Ke'Bryan Hayes didn't become a Red yesterday. He's been here for a month now. Like, you knew that Sal Stewart wasn't gonna play third base, but they continued to play him at third 3, 4 times a week. It just doesn't make sense to me, and then I think he truthfully would have played second today if Matt McLain all of a sudden didn't remember that he's a really good baseball player, which it's been great to see him kind of find it a little bit this past weekend, but yeah, it's a little interesting that they're just throwing Sal Stewart in there at first, and it's even more interesting that Spencer Steer apparently has been hurt for 2 months. Like, there were whispers about it. It's kinda mentioned a little bit, I think, in the series in Washington a while back that he was battling stuff. I just don't understand why they pushed him. I'm sure he wanted to play. Of course, these guys wanna play, but I just don't understand why they forced him to play when, they could've, had Stewart up here for a few weeks now. It just doesn't make sense to me, and they're 4 back right now, and I worry that it's a little too late.
Yeah, and I mean, going off of Steer too, that's been the story since opening day or even before opening day, right? I mean, he was going to start off on the IL, and then once Hayes kind of went down, what I understand it, he kind of talked himself back into the lineup and not going on the IL himself. So it's been a rough year for Steer, and yeah, one you got to figure he's been battling injuries for most, if not all of it, which certainly contributes to the probably performance. I don't think he's going to use that as an excuse, but yeah, I think, and the argument for Stewart was always, maybe he doesn't have a position once they call him up, and it without knowing about the Steer injury, situation. I guess you could make that argument that he didn't really have a spot. But then if you learn that these guys have been, battling injuries, we know that they haven't really been giving Elly De La Cruz any days off to shift other guys in, that sort of thing. So when you look at it from that aspect, it's like, well, we probably had more flexibility than maybe we thought or we've come to know of, I guess. And then once you factor in the whole argument or debate, I guess, of we're bringing him up now, so he's not eligible to go on our postseason roster. I don't know what your thoughts are there, but it's almost, I don't know if a catch 22 is the right word or whatever, but like, you're bringing him up now because you're hoping he does well. But say he does really well, then you find yourself in the playoffs, and we'll talk about that, I guess, if they have a shot. But say he plays really well, then he can't be on your postseason roster. So it's like, I mean, it'd be a good problem to have if the Reds play themselves in the playoffs, I guess. I'm not gonna, say that that's a bad scenario necessarily, but it's just kind of silly that, if they would get there, he's potentially not on that roster, which we'll find out if that makes a difference, I guess. But I don't know. Does that bother you too? I guess the way that they kind of handled it, or are you more okay than I guess I am with it?
No, I'm not okay with it at all. They kind of just been giving away opportunities. Sal Stewart is he was his numbers in AAA were unbelievable. He had a OPS over 1,000 and over 150 at bats. Like, it wasn't that small of a sample size. Like, he was raking, and I don't know how much more we need to see of Santiago Espinal before we realize that it's just not working. Like, the Reds would just look so stupid if they get into the playoffs and, oh, they can't have, and say South Stewart's awesome, but, oh, no, we can't have Stewart, because we kept Santiago Espinal on the roster. Like, that's just such a bad look, and it may not matter. We've been hurt by the Reds before. Chance we'll be hurt again, but, it's just disappointing that they waited this long. You can see the lineup on the screen. We mentioned Sal Stewart is playing first, but He's hitting 6th, and ahead of him is TJ Friedel leading it off. Marte again hitting 2nd. Elly back at shortstop today. Austin Hayes, who's swinging it a little bit better lately, is DHing. Gavin Lux, everyone's favorite left fielder, hitting 5th. Sal Stewart, Brian Hayes, who's been awesome as a Red. Trevino and Matt McLean. Do you have any thoughts about Sal Stewart in this lineup? Would you kind of change things around, or is this kind of how you'd stack it up?
It's probably about how I'd stack it up. I mean, regardless of how good you think Sal Stewart's going to be, I feel like it'd be kind of an overshot to plug him in batting third immediately once he comes up here, something like that. I think we both said we both think he can be great, but yeah, I mean, put the guy in kind of the bottom half of the lineup. I think I think that makes the most sense. Take a little pressure off him and kind of see what he can do. And it'll be interesting too. Like I don't know, they've mentioned I think that they're not going to call him up and just sit him. So like we could see him probably in various spots over the next couple weeks, not only defensively but maybe in the lineup as well. So it'll be interesting. I think a guy that you were just talking about, Santiago Espinal, I think he kind of is going to have that same I don't know, opportunity path, I guess, if you will, of like he fills in maybe one day at third, one day at first, that sort of thing. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. It's not that, I guess the thing that stinks if you're South Stewart, it's probably not going to be a lot of consistency, which would make it a lot easier coming up to the majors. If you kind of knew where you were playing and what to expect, that sort of thing. But I mean, they're giving him a tough situation. They're giving him an opportunity though, so we'll see what he does. I think if he's really as good as people act and want him to be, then maybe it doesn't matter as much. So we'll find out. But yeah, I think, is that probably similar to what you were expecting, or did you see him going anywhere else?
No, I think this is about where I saw it. I didn't see him being in the 7, 8, 9. I think he's already a better hitter than those 3 guys at this point, at least right now. Also, it's a good point from Nate in the chat, saying that he's pretty sure he is eligible for the postseason. I'm not totally sure because so they made the move to get Connor Joe off the 40-man yesterday, but they didn't announce anything about South Stewart as a team until today. So I don't know. Maybe they did announce it yesterday. I'm just looking at the Reds Twitter account and they announced it this morning. But that's a good call from Nate. That there's definitely a shot that he is postseason eligible, and that would be nice, especially since they did clear clear Connor Joe yesterday. Feels like they could have cleared Connor Joe about 3 weeks ago, but here we are. Um, you know, hey, gotta hold on to some guys. But yeah, this lineup, this is about how I'd stack it up. Elly, last few days, I feel like he's maybe been hitting a little bit better, but still, like, he just hasn't gotten into the power lately. And yeah, they go as Elly goes. Is there anything you've seen with Elly De La Cruz lately that makes you feel either good or bad? Obviously, rough. It's been a little rough defensively for him.
Yeah, I did the post game show Friday on Chatterbox, which is after his 2 error game, so that's still fresh in my mind. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I kind of had to do like a zoom out big picture of like the Elly De La Cruz, just expectations that I have for myself. And, I still think he's one of our better players. The guy's still batting around, 270 on the year. So he hasn't had a bad season by any means. I think the weird thing for me, I mentioned it on Friday, like the defense, I feel like has always been somewhat of a question mark for Elly. I don't think he's a bad shortstop, but like he's just always been prone to like airmail on the ball into the camera well or something occasionally, and one going off his glove, things like that. So that's that part of it's not as shocking to me. I would have liked to see more power, I guess, to this point in the year from him. And then even like the speed and stolen bases, like I guess not necessarily the speed, but when he's on base, he doesn't seem to be running as much. And really, I guess the whole team probably isn't running as much as they did under David Bell. So that's probably playing part of it, but you just don't see him like, I think it was the game of like the 4th of July weekend last year against the Brewers, or I can't remember, but where he stole like, every base imaginable that he could have. You don't see that kind of performance from him, at least this year so far. But I don't know. I'm not totally out on Elly, mostly because I don't know what else they would do at short unless you're banking on Matt McLean kind of staying hot like he did the past couple of days right before they call up Stewart, ironically enough, and then maybe giving him some time at short. But I mean, they haven't done that like all year, so I don't know if I know McLean's kind of a natural shortstop, but it seems like it'd be kind of almost too late to, move him over there now. I mean, I'm sure he could do it, but it just would be kind of weird to finally do it in September, just to kind of rotate guys around. But I don't know. I'm not totally out on Elly. I think, if they can cycle in some days off, I know they gave him the DH spot Saturday, I guess it was. So maybe they get creative, kind of rejuvenate him. I think, ironically enough, he's a guy that likes to play the whole 162, but I believe like right after he went on the bereavement list for his sister, he took like the 1 day off, whatever it was. When he came back, that's kind of when he had a good streak. I feel like after that kind of reset for him. So if they can capture something similar like that again, obviously they would benefit from it, especially going into this tough series and into the weekend. But how about you? Are you off the Elly train? Are you in it? Are you not much changed, or what are your thoughts?
I'm not off the LA train at all. He's got to get better defensively, but what's been more concerning to me is his power. It's just gone. It's it it just hasn't been fun to watch him at the plate for a while now. It's been really disappointing to see. I don't know if it's more him just changing his approach or the coaching staff. I tend to lean more to the coaching staff. The way they've just kind of taught hitting this year and trying to poke it through the other sides. That Elliott's just not the kind of guy you do it with. Like, yeah, he's got tons of speed, but when you can hit a ball 480 feet, I feel like that's something you should lean into. And I think it's interesting. So right now, September 1st. Next week, September 8th, I'm very interested to see what the conversation is surrounding the Reds. Like, there's a chance next Monday they're out of it completely. If they have a rough series against the Blue Jays, and then obviously they play the Mets who are one spot ahead of them. Say they go 2-4 this week, it's probably over. That's just how it is. Um, so I think next Monday could be interesting. Like if they are out of it, could we see them put Elly on the disabled list or put Steer on there and just kind of give guys a break who have been battling through stuff because Elly hasn't been healthy for a while. But he still played every and like you said, he's still hitting over 270, I think. Like, he hasn't been a terrible player at all. In my opinion, he hasn't been. The defense has been rough lately, but he's largely been okay. There's been far worse hitters on the team than Elly De La Cruz. I'll tell you that right now, and maybe worse defensive players too. Marte got a great arm in right field, but hasn't looked great. Our left fielder today is just not a left fielder. Sal Stewart's never played first, really. So there are far more concerning things defensively, I think, than Elly De La Cruz, in my opinion, today in the lineup.
Yeah, and then going off to your point offensively, I mean, if he was having like Matt McLean's offensive season, it'd be a totally different
Oh, yeah.
discussion. Like, could you? I mean, I could. Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'd be going crazy on this guy, even more so than sometimes they do now. But yeah, so I don't know. I think Ellie's still got a lot of potential, obviously, even more so than what we've seen with him. I think he's still kind of figuring that all out too. So I'm not out either, but we'll see. And I was actually doing a little glance on X, past couple minutes here, and people do seem to think that Sal Stewart would be eligible for the postseason roster with being put on the 40-man yesterday. So correction there on me. But yeah, glad to hear it because that's obviously a lot better than the alternative. So I'll take it.
Yeah, good call from Nate in the chat for putting that on our radar and not letting us sound too stupid. So we'll talk about Hunter Greene now, who's a starting pitcher for the Reds today. 5-4 this year, an ERA under 3 in only 14 starts. This will be his 15th. One thing that stood out to me this year about Hunter Greene is he's got 94 strikeouts in 77 innings and only 16 walks. He's cut his walks per nine way down. That's just something that he's matured at with so much. Like, it kind of seemed like he was. I know it's such a cliched thing, like, oh, he was more of a thrower, but he was more of a thrower the last few years. And last year, I felt like he kind of became more of a pitcher. And this year, I mean, when he's been healthy, I think he's the top 5 pitcher in baseball. He's looked like DeGrom a lot of the time when he's been right.
Yeah. Obviously, the health has been the key this year for him. But I mean, shoot, the way he came back, after this past injury and kind of picked up right where he left off, that was super good to see as a Reds fan. And yeah, I mean, you plug in like, an ace Hunter Greene into this team at just the right time. I think I think how it lines up, if he's going to pitch this series, obviously, and then he still would hit in the Mets series next weekend, which would be huge for this team. So if we can get, dominant Hunter Green, they really, I mean, have had some decent outings from all their pitchers over the past couple, days, innings wise, at least, especially just, not burning up the bullpen. So if they can keep that going, that's going to be nice for this team. Cause I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are, but they're going to start having to kind of manage these games. If somebody's getting rocked in like the third inning, you can't really give them a long leash because, I mean, they're, whatever you want to think about this team and their potential for the postseason, like if they go on a run, they find themselves still in it, kind of controlling their destiny. So I think, anything you can get out of Hunter Green obviously is always good for the most part. But I mean, if he can go deep into a game and keep you in it, I think that's just what the Reds need, man. Because this, I don't know if you want to get into the Blue Jays lineup at all, but it's a scary lineup, man. It's they're always battling for top, I think, record. They're like a game out of having the best record in the AL, but they got some guys that could mash. So I don't know if you want to segue into that, if there's anything else you wanted to hit on before we go to that, but that's it's gonna be a tough series for them offense, taking care of their offense, I should say.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that Toronto Blue Jays lineup. George Springer will lead it off. He's a reverse splits guy. He hits righties way better than he hits lefties, and he's having just a revival year. He's been awesome. Addison Barger in right field. Vladimir Guerrero at first, Bo Bichette, Dalton Varsho, Alejandro Kirk catching, and then the 7-8-9 is Nathan Lukes in left field. Ernie Clement and Andres Jimenez, the former Guardian, at second. This is a very, very good lineup. They don't do it as much with power, I feel like. Flatty, I guess kind of they do. Barger this year is 18 homers. He's had kind of an awesome year. Kind of coming out of nowhere. And they've had Nathan Lukes has had a pretty good year. Ernie Clement has kind of solidified third base for them. Bo Bichette also has had a revival year. So the Blue Jays coming into this year, I felt like they're just kind of one of the most boring teams in the AL, but they're probably going to win the AL East ahead of some good teams. I mean, the Yankees, they've had their struggles, but they're a good team. The Red Sox as well. So the Blue Jays are a really good baseball team, and it'll be a tough task today for Hunter Green.
No doubt, yeah, and just looking at some of these guys' averages too, like Springer, who's like, I don't know, got to be in like his mid to late 30s at this point. He's at like 298. It looks like 24 home runs. Vlad Jr. is 288. Bo Bichette 308. And then even Kirk, who was their all-star, 296. So like, yeah, and we kind of knew this. We've known this. I feel like the Reds have had, one of the most tough schedules you could possibly have coming out of the All-Star break, and especially these next couple weeks. But I don't know. It's tough because like it's a time for the Reds where they really need to win some games if they want to have a shot at this at all. And it kind of stinks. You got to do it against like the best of the best. But at the same time, it's like, all right, line them up, let's go play. But yeah, nobody you'd rather have on the mound today for sure, besides Hunter Green. So I'll take it.
Yeah. If the Reds make the playoffs, in my opinion, Hunter Green is the game one starter, and there's no real discussion about it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I think the way like you could have made maybe the argument that he wouldn't be just kind of around his injuries and coming in and out of that. But I think like credit to him, and obviously like the way that he's pitched, like when he's been available, he's basically come in and like still been that dude. So I think I can't really argue with it. And then the good thing is, I mean, shoot, you line it up after that, you got Abbott and Lodolo and Springer or whatever they want to do, or Singer, not Springer, but yes, I don't know. I mean, you got some good options behind him, I guess, ultimately, and I don't know necessarily who all they would do because probably have like a 3 guys and then figure it out from there. But I'd be totally cool with that. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but for the Reds to get there, they will have to win some ball games and win a lot of ball games. And the Reds got some help this past weekend from the Mets, losing 3 out of 4 to Miami. Last week when I was on the show, me and Hunter kind of just did the Reds eulogy. In my opinion, it's going to be tough. I still think they're kind of dead. Because they've won 1 game in like the last 7 days, and that's not normally something you want at this time of year. But here we are. This is the situation we sit in. And on the mound today for the Blue Jays, who the Reds will face, is Chris Bassett. He's got a 2.88 ERA in his career against the Reds. His last start was in 2023 against the Reds, where Elly went 2 for 3 with a double and a triple against him. But outside of that, there really hasn't been much success for these Reds hitters against Chris Bassett, and he poses a 4.14 ERA this year. And one thing about Bassett is, and he's a little bit like Bronson Arroyo in this way, is he throws 8 pitches. He's just gonna put his fingers on the ball and see which way it goes. And he's not gonna overpower you either. He throws around low 90s sinker and fastball. So what do you think about this lineup today against Chris Bassett?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a tough task. And I mean, shoot, the Reds lineup, like to your point, you could watch them win one game over the past, however many days, and then they could come in today and score like 7 runs. So I don't know. It's always kind of tough with these guys to even predict. You don't, based on kind of his year that he's had, it's going to be a tough task.
I think I lost. Let me put it in the chat if you can hear me here. I think I lost Austin, or he lost me. Something's going on here. But yeah, it'll be a tough task today for the Cincinnati Reds against Chris Bassett. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. My screen is showing a circle coming from the screen of Austin, so apologies for the technical difficulty issues here. Let's see.
Hey, I'm
Are
back.
you back? All right. I don't know what happened.
Man, yeah, I don't know how much you caught of that, but no, I think this Reds team, man, I mean, if they can get hot, they're kind of going to need a hot run and catch lightning in a bottle against this guy. But I don't know. We'll see how they do. But yeah, sorry, I don't know. It like refreshed and kicked me out. But I'm back.
No, you're all good. I didn't know if it was my issue, so I just blankly stared at the screen for 10 seconds, and then I was like, "Yeah, I think we're having technical difficulties here." But for the Reds today, I think because the lineup is so good on the Blue Jays side, that I think they're going to need 7, 8 runs today. I think I obviously I love Hunter Green on the mound, but I think Sal Stewart up here hopefully gives the guys some juice and some young life that I think they've been needing another bat. So yeah, I think. What are your predictions today? Throw your predictions in the chat as well if you guys have any.
Yeah, I think to your point, I mean, it's going to have to probably be a high scoring game out of the Reds if they want to win it. But at the same time, with Hunter Green kind of going for us, you think like, I don't know, if you can at least hold this Blue Jays lineup to maybe 3 runs or something like that, you'd almost take it as a win, figuratively, not literally. But if we can hold them to 3 and maybe score, 4 or 5, I think that would probably be the recipe for success against these guys. I don't think we're going to shut them out necessarily, anything like that. So if I'm predicting a Reds win, I guess I'll go in the 5-3 range there. But at the same time, I think it's going to be a tough game for these guys. So we'll see what happens. But that's my optimistic prediction. I don't know where you fall in.
Yeah, I feel like on the last 2 weeks, I've been pretty negative with the Reds, especially last show. I mean, me and Hunter just kind of crucified the team the entire episode. But today, I think the Reds offense is going to break out. I think the Reds do win today, 9-5. I think Sal Stewart has a big day in his debut. Maybe Elly steals a base. We do a little throwback. But yeah, I think the Reds lineup wakes up today. And the bullpen closes it out in the 9th. And yeah, I think it's a Reds victory. I don't know what's going on with the chat today. I know it's Labor Day, but the chat's been kind of quiet today. I'm a little disappointed in the chat. But hey, that's how it is. It's Labor Day. Everyone's
People
out celebrating. Yeah, people are enjoying themselves as we're about to watch a very average baseball team go compete. Thank you all for tuning in to this latest edition of Chatterbox Reds pregame show.